Hello, this is Telemere, and welcome to another repair video. In this video, we're working on this iPhone 11 Pro. So this 11 Pro, as you can clearly see, is pretty smashed up. The customer has taped it up with a little bit of packing tape, but it's not got just that issue. It also has an issue with the camera lens. It has been smashed right through. Now, they checked it and have told me that there is no issue. Nothing has gotten onto the camera lens itself, which is great to hear. So theoretically, it should be a very straightforward repair. So once again, you got this little lens here. Now you might be thinking to yourself, oh, if this was not cracked and all that, not a big deal. Oh, I can just go and chip out the rest of that glass without taking the phone apart. It is the one thing I just wanted to point out very clearly. It is a terrible idea to work on a lens on a camera without taking the camera out first. And the reason is simply because you make one slip, one mistake, one drop of alcohol gets on that lens, anything, and you've just completely ended your camera. Basically, you'll have caused permanent damage. So you do not want to do that. So I'm going to chuck this on the heater. We're going to get this apart. Just a few things that I wanted to note for when if you guys ever decide to try to do this yourself. There is two battery connectors that you got to remove. There is a plate. That is over top of this section right here. It is this one right here, not the second one. And then there is also a battery connector right there that you need to get out. And then you've got those three connectors, which I've got the screen disconnected right there. You might wonder, why do you need to disconnect the screen when you're doing a back glass replacement? Surely it's not a big deal. You can just work around it. I can guarantee you that at some given point in time, you will damage the screen if you leave it in place while doing a back glass replacement. So I always remove it. And this is just some Kapton tape that I like to put over the sensors and the face cam right there. It works great. Kapton tape, it doesn't leave any residue from what I've seen. I've never seen any residue left behind, so that's what I always use. So I got to take this tape off, and then we're going to be switching over to a time lapse. Let's get that started. Well, there's the back off. Now at this point in time, I would usually just continue on. I'd put the screen back on and I'd start on this, but because I need to have the screen in place in order to do the final step of the back glass replacement, I may as well take off this, get that lens replaced, and that's what we're going to do now. So to start this off, we got a shield that we got to remove. As far as I know with this particular model, all it is a whole bunch of Y000 screws. So let's get those out. I don't think it really matters for the order, but for the sake of just being used to always managing your screws correctly and making sure that they're all in the right order, I do recommend that you just try your best to keep them in the correct order. So there's that shield there. You got two ribbon cables. You can just pop those up if your nail is long enough, or you can use your spudger. Now we got those popped up. We just got to get the camera module out. It's relatively easy to get out. I usually use my tweezers, but there is actually a little notch right here that you can use just to pull it up with your nail or the tweezers, whichever work for you. Just make sure you put this somewhere safe. What's holding it in place? Oh my gosh, there's another ribbon cable. I'm used to the 11. There's actually another ribbon cable? No. Yeah, there is. It's not this one. It's this one right here. See that? 1, 2, 3. Oh, of course there's 3 cameras. Let's put that over there, just putting it out of the way somewhere safe. And we got to get this lens out now. I find that there's two ways to get the lens out. The way that I find works best is a combination of heat and using some isopropyl alcohol. It's just heating that lens up. You gotta be careful because you do have the flash right there beside it. It can take some heat, but you don't want to overheat it just in case, because you never know what might happen. I'm going to use something like a more solid feeling tweezers, and you put it down to your desk, and then you just push. And what you're trying to do at this point is you're trying to make a hole, an area that you can work on. Hole. Well, the hole's already there. If you have a cracked lens and you don't have a hole that's already there present, the easiest way to go about it is simply to flip it over and then get yourself maybe a flat bit, like maybe something like this, or even just a Phillips screwdriver bit like this, nice small size. And you put it down to the ground, you put it down to your mat, and you just push down firmly, and you just keep pushing until it cracks through. Now what I'm doing right here is I'm getting the glass out of the way in one spot so that I can continue to pull it up as I go. Sometimes also a small chisel type blade will work too. I can try this. Doesn't always work well. It seems to be working. Yeah, that worked. There is a little bit of a gasket that's remaining. That's basically adhesive to hold it down. And you're just going to basically go back in with your razor blade. And what I like to do is use the back of the razor blade. You notice how that's been carved downwards, you know, and it's got that slope right there. You're looking for the straight edge right there. Instead, just the raw metal. I'm just scraping out that old adhesive. Okay, final bit. I'm going to grab a Q-tip and give the circle there just a good cleaning. Now, I bought a whole pack of these from Mobile Centrics. You can find them in different locations as well. There's all sorts of different distributors. Now, I'm seeing that there is, you'll see 3 different sizes. Well, actually, I think it's just 2 different sizes. We got to figure out which one it is. I believe it is the larger of the 2. You notice how you can see this one's a thicker lens, and this one is also, that one's really thin. This one is very likely to be one of the thicker of the 2 lenses because all of these are of the same size. That's the only conclusion I can come to. So let's grab one of these. You remember that the one with, it's got the adhesive on the back. You don't want to touch that side. I even would recommend using some tweezers to pick up the lens. There we go. Just drop it in place. There we go. Now let's put that camera back in. You're going to want to put this ribbon cable in first. And then you can put these 2 in. There we go. Very nice. Now at this point, you'd go and get your screen back on, get your plates in, make sure you got a new seal in there. There's no seal on this one at all. I kind of want to give this a cleaning actually. But what I'm going to be doing is moving on to that back glass. Now just as a reminder, any of the tools that I am using or even supplies that I am using in my videos, if you're wanting to have them or you need them for your own shop or whatever, or just a hobby, whatever it might be, you can find my affiliate links for them, for my Amazon affiliate links, all in the video description.